I would be thinking about you as I was recovering.
Yeah, that's what I, that's
on game controllers. Here, there's app library and widgets on your home screen.
So I want to go ahead and transition this from photojournalism and photography to another passion of yours, pigeons. So I understand that you have a pigeon farm and you also have a business selling supplements for pigeons. So
Yeah.
talk to me. Where did this love for pigeons come from?
Well, let's go full circle back to the beginning of this conversation. Remember, I told you when I was a kid, I was going around my neighborhood taking pictures of this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget discovering a dove's nest, a mourning dove's nest in the hawthorn tree in our front yard. And I climbed that tree, thorns and all, to try to get as close as I could to this dove. And doves are notorious for not leaving their nest. And so I could get as close as I wanted that thing. I took pictures of this dove with my little camera. And that really, I think, started my love of birds and wildlife. And when I was a kid, I found a neighbor who had domesticated doves. And so I bought a couple of pairs from him and I had them in my backyard. And then I discovered homing pigeons. Somebody else in Lexington had homing pigeons and I got a couple from him. Moved to Berea and I built myself a loft in Berea at our home and had doves and pigeons there. And then when that played a role in considering going into ornithology for college because I still had those doves and pigeons in my backyard. And it was really just for fun. But I had to give them up going to school and in my early career. So it was really about 10 or 15 years ago that I was able to get back into them again when I had a yard that was appropriate to have a pigeon loft. So I started with homing pigeons, started with racing pigeons as opposed to doves this time. And so I'm, a member of the local racing pigeon club, and that's what we do. We raise racing pigeons and then we race those pigeons. It's a one-way race. So they come home from a liberation point. We drive them hundreds of miles away. We let them go as a group and they come home to their individual lofts and whoever flew the fastest wins the race. And it's an old sport.
Originated. I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, it originated in Belgium and it's a sport that is worldwide. I mean, it's huge in China right now. It's going gangbusters in China. It's dwindling in the States. Not so many people doing it anymore. But that's what I do. I mean, I have a pigeon loft in my backyard twice a day. I'm back there feeding and watering the birds, and there's so many fun things. And I continue to take pictures of the birds too. I have a calendar. So when I got the birds, I was always taking pictures of my pigeons, and then I decided to make a calendar. Well, actually, some people on social media were stealing my pictures.
Really?
It was driving me crazy. Well, yeah, people do. They just like,
people do it all the time.
Yeah, they just take pictures and they publish it. And I'm like, hey, God, you need to stop that. These are my pictures. Stop doing that. And then so I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to sell these pictures and try to make money, and it'll help me pay the bird feed. And I'm always buying birds too. Pigeons can be expensive, and so I'm always looking to buy a new pigeon. So I need some money to do that. So I made a calendar one year and sold a few 500 copies of this calendar. I thought, oh, that's cool. I made some money doing that. Did it again the next year, made all my money back, sold another 400 or 500 copies. And then, I had a friend that works at Alltech. Alltech is a animal nutrition company that's here in Lexington. Well, it's in Jessamine County. And they sell ingredients for health and nutrition for livestock, including poultry. And so I got with them. I'm trying to make this a short story. I got with them and they essentially helped me develop some products that I could use on my birds. And so these are natural supplements that help the birds be healthy. They're like probiotics kind of things. And my friends started using them, and then I basically started slapping labels on them and created a company. And I used the money that I'd earned from the calendar and the network and the email list and all those kinds of things. And I used that to start the business. So I have a pretty big social media following on Instagram and Facebook. I've got about Oh, I think I'm at maybe 15,000 on Facebook and 14,000 on Instagram. And I've got an email list of
You popping, huh?
4,000 on an email list. And so, I got into basically the digital marketing business, which of course came very natural to me because I'm a communicator. I'm a visual communicator. I mean, I can take pictures better than anybody in the pigeon market. I promise. Ain't nobody going to take better pigeon pictures than me in America.
Are you competitive about that too?
Maybe a little bit, maybe. Maybe. So yeah, so there's the competitive part too. I like to compete with the pigeons, but the pigeon businesses, domesticated pigeon businesses in America are very old school and kind of tired, and they're not particularly good at digital, not good at publishing, and their marketing is whatever, and the pictures are horrible. And so I'm like, I got to take it up a notch with these guys. And so, and it works. I mean, I've got a big social media presence amongst, pigeon racers in America and overseas. I mean, we have customers in 13 countries. I just got an email like this week from a guy in some islands I've never even heard of. I had to look it up, and they're off the coast of New Zealand somewhere. Solomon Islands, never heard of them.
All right, I got a globe right here.
Solomon Islands. They're like north of New Zealand and off the northeast coast of Australia. And he's like, "Hey man, I want to be a wholesaler of your products." I'm like, "Oh, okay, let's go." I got wholesalers in Philippines, and I got customers in the Middle East and Europe and Mexico, Canada, South Africa, Australia. I mean, it's been a hoot. So it's a good little side hustle. It's not a quit your job side hustle necessarily,
but it's a good one.
And that's the other thing I've learned in the last 10 years when we had the Great Recession. I want to say that, I'm teaching now clearly, and I'm not a full-time photojournalist. I'm not at the Herald Leader anymore. The Herald Leader was my dream job. And I was very, very fortunate to land that job in a city and a state that I love. I mean, that's everybody's dream as a journalist, I think, to be able to work in an area that you care about. I would have retired from that job had the economy let me. I would have. I didn't want to leave that job, but the writing was on the wall, and I had an opportunity at UK, and I took it. And I don't regret it. I will say I miss it. Yeah, clearly I miss it, but I don't regret it. But I also learned that, economies can be fragile, and I've tried to diversify myself too. So I have a diverse income stream now. I have a teaching income stream. I have a freelance commercial and editorial freelance stream from photography and video work. And then the Pigeon supplement company is also a diverse income stream. So that's something else I've learned in the past was to, I can't rely on one company, one job anymore. That's kind of sad, but that's the reality of it now.
And I think like the way our economy is now, obviously not the same as the Great Recession was, but I think even in this time for our economic status, it's taught a lot of people to do what you said, is to have multiple streams of income. Because with a lot of people losing their jobs as they did since the pandemic started, a lot of people started picking up different type of side hustles. You started seeing more people doing podcasts. You started seeing people starting to pick up gigs, doing multiple different things. And it could be of their passion, like where yours was to take pictures of pigeons and like just study birds. You actually find a way to monetize that and still have fun and enjoy at the same time. So I think in this time that we're in, I think people have to find a way to do that as well and create multiple streams of income.
Yeah, and there's a philosophy of thought out there that you should, what's it called? Like find your one thing or something. Have you heard that? It's like find your niche and stick to it or something like that. Yeah, it's like find your passion and do it, and like don't let anything stop you. And that should be your career. And I don't quite believe that. I think that it's partially true, but I think also if you feel like, and I've been lucky that I did that with photography, but I also think that if you force it, you may also end up hating it. If your passion is, if it's impossible to monetize your passion and you just spend all of your time trying to make that happen, you could end up hating it and failing. And you don't want to ruin your passion either if it's not practical. So I would tell people to just tread cautiously, and hopefully if you can get it right and make it work, then you're in a good place. But sometimes go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that's a good point you brought up, because like I always teach people to follow their dreams. Like what I'm doing right here, this is something that I always thought about doing since I was a kid. And what you said is very true. Like, don't follow it too much, especially if you can't make money off of it. Like, because you'll get burnt out and you end up hating it. And even if you can make money off it, I've seen cases where people go into their dream jobs and they do it so much.
Yeah.
It's not even, like I said, it's not even the money part. It's the fact they do it so much and they get burnt out from it. And they just don't even love it anymore.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, and I do think people should follow their dreams and they should see what they can do and they should try to make a go of it. But they all should have their eyes open about it and, you know, make sure that they don't kill themselves and ruin it either. And maybe these days it's 2 or 3 things, and maybe you do change career eventually. Look, I've changed careers now, and I found a new passion. I love teaching now. I never saw myself as a professor at the University of Kentucky. If you'd asked me this 15 years ago, I'd have laughed at you. I said, "You're crazy. Professor, I don't have what it takes for you. I don't know how to be a professor. I don't have what it takes. And at UK, I can't get in there." But you know, here I am, you know, and I love it. And I have a new career, and I love every day of it, and it's fantastic. I'm really glad that I can help people like you. I hope I am a little bit anyway, but other students, if I can guide you a little bit and help you get where you want to go, I'm happy to do that.